are starting with lesson 22 in the Face Down series this week. And this lesson is going to be all about submitting to an employer or a teacher. All of these students that we deal with, they're going to have one or both of these things in their life. And generally there are some issues with one or both of those in their life. And so I'm excited about this week's lesson. I think hopefully it will be something to make them think about something that they had never thought about before. I know that as I was a teenager and had a job, like I didn't ever think about me submitting to my employer as a way to submit to the Lord. And I sure didn't think that way about teachers. And so I just did what I was supposed to do because that's what you do. To be a good kid, to be a good student, and didn't really understand the reasoning behind it. So as we look into this week, we're looking at the hook portion, and I know that it's good sometimes to be able to get these students involved in some activity. So we've got two different options for you this week. The first one is an action option. Now this may require a little bit of coordination on your part, but like it really shouldn't take more than a bucket and a few sponges. Or just some washcloths, the dish towels, or whatever. You could really just take a bucket of hot soapy water in that room, give them all a rag, and tell them to get down on the floor and scrub it. If you don't want, if there's girls in your room and you don't want them having to get down on the floor in a skirt or whatever, like they could wash the walls, or you could take them to one of our storage rooms and have them clean out one of the storage rooms. In most of the classrooms in the South Campus, there are papers and stuff laying around that doesn't need to be there. They can clean that up. Whatever, just something to get them working and involved in it. And I put a question in there at the end after they complete the task. What purpose does work serve in God's plan? Like how does working glorify God? And hopefully that will get them thinking. You can do one or both of these hooks. You can use the discussion option in combination with the action option. And on that, I've got what is your work, or what's your job? All of them, like I said, are going to have one of these. Some of the kids aren't going to realize that their job is school. Some people have their kids get regular jobs after school on the weekends, something like that. But a lot of these kids aren't going to be old enough for that, and so they need to look at school as their job because they're in preparation for adulthood, and in order to go to college, in order to be able to learn a trade, they need to have some basic skills. So really their employment or their job at this point in their life is school. Who is your master or employer? Can be a teacher at school, could be an employer they have at a job that they do outside of school. What is your reaction when you have done your best on a project or assignment and your boss or teacher tells you it is not good enough or correct? That's one of the reasons I suggested the variation in the action portion, is that you, after they get done, no matter how good a job they do, tell them there's something that could be done better. You didn't do this exactly right. You didn't do exactly what I wanted. Something like that to kind of give them a little pause, because generally in Sunday school they're coming in and they're not hearing about, well, you did something wrong. Usually, hopefully, each week they're hearing something encouraging and that's going to build them up. But by telling them you didn't do a good enough job or whatever, it should give them a little pause and make them stop and think of, wow, I can't believe they just said that to me. And then you can use that to bridge over into the other portion, because the scripture we're talking about today talks about how to handle it if you suffer at the hands of a teacher or an employer, or master is what the scripture says. But in our context, we're looking at a teacher or an employer. So anyway, something to get them moving this week, something to get them involved in the lesson, and then also something to shock them a little bit. Hopefully will help you engage.